Good morning, everyone. My name is Rick, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to give you a garden tour, pointing out some of the cold damage that we got following that 37-degree night. I did move a lot of the plants, but some of the plants that stayed out here did suffer some yellowing of the leaves, and some really didn't do well at all. So I'll point those out. And then I'm going to show you how to root a difficult cutting, or a cutting that you've tried before and you haven't had any success with, or a really pricey cutting that you really don't want to lose. So I'm going to share with you the method that I use when I encounter that situation. So please sit back and enjoy, and hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so we had a few cold nights, and one night dropped down to 37 degrees. And if you watched my last video, you saw that the plants didn't really suffer that much. But a few days later, I did begin to notice some Hoyas did not like it at all. Some of the leaves started turning yellow, and some of them look like they're really didn't make it at all. They're completely dead, Hoya elliptica being one. So I'm just going to show you some of the ones that stayed out here that didn't do so well. And then, like I said, I'm going to show you how to root that cutting. But I want to show you some of the orchids. I was really surprised with the orchids. Some of the dendrobiums look like they're going to lose some leaves, but probably will make it. And the cattleyas did really well. They don't show any signs of complete destruction yet. So, and it's been 10 days since that really cold night. But and some that were in bud on that really cold night really did end up blooming. I don't think the blooms are in perfect shape, but they actually didn't bust. And I'll start over here with this this really gorgeous cattleya. I love the color. And this was, I forgot, I broke the tag, and this is the last name, the piece of the name that I have. But you can see, like, the sheath is really turned dark and kind of rotted out, and one of the buds did break out, I think from the wind, but the one that opened up is quite beautiful. Yeah, the Hoyas, like especially the Carnosa type Hoyas and the diversifolias and a lot of the other Hoyas did not really mind the cold at all. And this is the Seriga oensis. It was out here at 37 degrees, and it did not get bothered by it at all. I'm sure the rate of growth kind of slowed down until it gets warmer again. But yeah, these didn't do so bad. And this is Hoya UT33, and it did not suffer whatsoever. There's no dying leaves or anything. There's actually some nice sun stressing going on. The Dischidia did fine. This has been in bloom. It was in bloom before the cold, and then after the 37-degree night, and it's still in bloom. So it's been blooming for 3 weeks at least. These were in bud during a cold, but the buds didn't fall out. They don't look perfect, but they still beautiful nonetheless. And this was actually brought into the greenhouse, but I think it would have done fine out here because it's kind of like a Carnosa type Hoya. This is AH74, I believe. And the Carrii did not suffer whatsoever. And even the Pentaphlebia is doing okay. It's getting a little sun stress, but that's doing well. And the 1015, EPC 1015 did not suffer at all. No signs of stress. But I will show you one here that did not like it. The Sunrise did fine, but as I suspected, Hoya elliptica, cold damage, and I probably could take some cuttings off of this plant and root them, but all the all the leaves kind of look yellow, and they're probably gonna get mold and fall off, and probably the root system as well is shot. So yeah, I have other elliptica plants, so I'm just gonna let this one rest and learn the lesson that elliptica needs to go into the greenhouse if it drops below, I'm gonna say 45 degrees. But this dendrobium over here was in bud, and the buds is still looking good, and it looks like it's gonna do really well. But some of these other cane dendrobiums look like they're gonna lose some leaves. I think they will be okay. But yeah, for the most part, I would say that I would say about 90% of the Hoyas survived that 37-degree weather, and they're doing fine. This is Hoya camphorifolia, and it's really, really beautiful. It does sun and cool stress really well. I've showed it many times. Even this Hoya latifolia that I have over here did really well, no damage whatsoever. And this is more of EPC 1015, no problem there. I did bring in about 300 plants, and I sheltered about 1,000 in the shade house, and I have a small greenhouse and a larger greenhouse that I rent, which I have about another 2,000 plants, and they were all protected. So this orchid, this has been in bloom for weeks, so these are kind of going down, but these opened up during the cold spell, and they look really pretty. And this is LC Liptonii. So yeah, I am really, really happy that most Hoyas survived. There's one that I would have to take care of soon, and I'll go around here, and you can see the cold damage there. It's kind of weird because some leaves look okay and some don't, but they're not feeling so great. So I'm going to take all this growth and I'm going to root it and keep it in a nice warm environment until they do root. And there's more of that plant. These are all going to be caught up. See some cold damage there. Try to save that. I do have more seedlings from that cross in the greenhouse, so they were well protected. I was surprised with some of the philodendrons. Some of them did really, really okay, and some did not. So I'm not really sure why. I'm sure a lot of them have different temperature requirements. So that's probably the reason. So this guy over here basically lost all of its leaves. I hope it can survive. It's a philodendron subhastium, and that lost all its leaves. The painted lady is looking okay, but it did look like it did suffer a little bit. And this, I believe it's golden eye philodendron. Goldie eye, absolutely no issues at all whatsoever with it. So all in all, I am pleasantly surprised with how cold tolerant some of these tropicals are. The heliconias did lose all its leaves, so I cut them all back. And like I said, the hibiscus don't look too great, but they'll come back with new foliage. And the garden should be bouncing back in a couple weeks when the temperatures return into the mid 70s again. So let me go ahead and set up the cutting demonstration for you. And now I'm going to root a difficult cutting for you. So basically this is like a 3-ounce plastic cup. I made some holes at the bottom, and it's filled with coarse perlite, charcoal, sphagnum moss, and coconut husk chunks. And then I did my cutting, and this is an unknown species from Indonesia. And I insert the cutting into the mix until the bottom of the node touches the surface of the mix. And I secure the cutting with one of these, they're called strawberry picks, and you can pick them up on Amazon for like 100 for $8, I believe. And so one of the tricks about rooting cuttings is that you want to kind of secure the cutting, and you don't want to move it at all while it's rooting. So these really help in doing that. So after I have it secured into the mix, I put it into my bottom cup, and this cup has no holes at the bottom. And it's in there, and then I put my label in there. And the top cup has 4 holes that I made with a soldering iron, and I put it right on top of there. And I use packing tape, and I secure the top cup to the bottom cup. And basically what you have here is a mini greenhouse. And if you keep this at about 80 degrees in a very bright spot, but not direct sunlight. And that is it. That's how I root my difficult cuttings. I hope that you guys found this informative. Basically, this is a small greenhouse environment where the humidity stays high in there, and if the temperature is warm enough, around 80 degrees, and it's in bright white, you shouldn't have any problems rooting cuttings this way. I hope you enjoyed and found this helpful. And I hope you come back next week when I upload another video next Sunday. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.